Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Bucks Beat Podcast. This is episode 136, and today we're going to talk about 5 Georgia players that I'm really excited to see in the Saturday scrimmage over in Athens at Sanford Stadium. What Bulldog players am I excited to see? Well, really all of them, but really 5 guys in particular we'll break down today on this podcast. First, though, I'd like to say thank you to Kirby Smart for making this happen. Kirby, when he took over 10 years ago, one of the first things he did during this preseason camp was invite all of the Georgia Football Letterman back to Sanford Stadium to participate or at least observe the second scrimmage of the preseason camp. It's sort of a who's who of Georgia football. And so me being a longtime Georgia fan is always one of my favorite events during the course of the year. What happens is we show up, all right, we get checked in over at Sanford Stadium, and there's a social hour that takes place, so it gives us time to interact and be able to bounce around the room and talk to everybody. I get to hang out with some of the guys that I watched play as a kid growing up and admired. Also get an opportunity to see a lot of the guys that I was teammates with during my 4 years at Georgia. And then a chance to interact with a lot of the young men that came along and played after my days at Georgia were over. So the fellowship is one of the best days of the year for a Georgia football player. Then Coach Kirby Smart shows up before the scrimmage, and he gives a little 5 or 10 minute speech to the Georgia Letterman. And people ask, what is Kirby saying? Well, most of the time Kirby tells the group, and there are hundreds of guys there, and he says, look, you guys keep asking me what you can do to help the program. Here's what you can do to help. When these guys get through playing, when their football career's over, you help them find a job, a good job. Most of them want to settle down here in Metro Atlanta. So that's how, as a former Letterman, you can help these guys when their career comes to an end. Then they serve up lunch. You know, when you get football players or ex-football players hanging out, you got to have some food, right? So they do a great job putting a meal together for us, and then we all file out into the end zone and are able to sit down and watch the current team scrimmage, which really comes in handy when you're in the profession that I'm in. Got to be careful how much information you share, though. Don't want to share too much information. So what players on this year's team am I excited to see the most? Well, look, I'm a former quarterback, right? So my attention immediately goes to the quarterback group. And so I'll be anxious to check out Gunnar Stockton, QB1, the starter coming into this season. Really excited about what Gunnar's going to do this season. I know there are a lot of doubters out there, and people are wondering, even some critics out there like my boy Feinbaum, who probably doesn't have the best idea of what it takes to be an outstanding quarterback in the SEC. I think I can put my arms around that topic and feel pretty confident about what I'm talking about here. I think Gunnar's going to have an outstanding season, and looking forward to seeing Gunnar throw the ball around a little bit. Also anxious to see where Ryan Puglisi is, the backup quarterback it looks like. He's had a chance to develop for a little over a year now, get a little more comfortable in the system and with the teammates. And so I'm anxious to evaluate Puglisi and see if he's really ready to be a backup quarterback. Remember, when you're the backup, you're one play away from being the starter. So looking forward to seeing Puglisi. Have not had a chance to see the freshman Ryan Montgomery in last year's recruiting class. He's now healthy. And so really excited to see what his skill set looks like. So, hey, number one, man, I'm checking out the quarterback room. You can't blame me for that, right? Number two, look, any quarterback is going to be interested in his wide receivers. And Georgia, during the offseason, has taken a weakness a year ago, the receiver position, a weakness, and through the transfer portal and also through recruiting, this year's recruiting class, this wide receiver room has gone from a weakness to a strength. In my opinion, we'll see how that shakes out. But number two, as far as who I'm excited to see in the scrimmage, is senior wide receiver Colby Young. Excited to see, I know he's excited about this opportunity that he has. Probably some days last year where he thought maybe his career was coming to an end at Georgia due to some off-the-field issues that have been cleaned up. He's paid a penalty for that, and played in the first few games last year and then had to go away for the rest of the season. So I know he's thrilled and excited about this opportunity. One more chance to go out and make a huge impact with this Georgia Bulldog team. I know he had to feel like he let the team down a year ago because ex-wide receiver, with he and Ra Thomas not really making it to the start line, really put Georgia in a bind at the wide receiver position. So he's got a second chance, per se, to come out and make things right, have a bounce-back season. I really love his skill set. Colby Young is 6'4", 215 pounds, which means he's going to be a mismatch advantage out on the perimeter against these opposing cornerbacks. How many cornerbacks do you know are 6'4", 215? Yeah, there are none of them out there. So he's a physical mismatch with his big body, his speed and athleticism. Looking forward to seeing what he's bringing to the table. You know, his catch radius is very impressive. So on those contested passes, those 50-50 balls, you can expect to see Colby Young bringing down a lot of those passes that are coming his way. Also believe, too, that he's going to help impact the running game, which Georgia is determined to kickstart after a down year a year ago running the football. At 6'4", 215, he can get involved on the perimeter blocking and help this Georgia run game get going. His NFL dream's still alive. And so, you know, he's coming out last year, coming off a disappointing year. He's looking forward to putting together a year that NFL scouts are going to be impressed with. He's got an opportunity to deliver a big, big season. So, Colby Young, can't wait to see him. Number three, Rodrik Robinson. Year number 3 in the program for Rodrik. Big running back, big-bodied running back. First 2 years, he's been frustrated with injuries that have wreaked havoc on him, limited his playing time. Seen the field a little bit, not enough to really make an impact, but now he's healthy coming into this camp with an opportunity to grab some playing time at a very deep running back position. He's got an opportunity to play. And with Frazier looking like the featured back, right now I'm looking at Rodrik Robinson as the second running back in the rotation on the depth chart, a backup to Frazier. So he will roll into the game consistently at 6'2", 235 pounds. And when he walks on the field, you're thinking, okay, this guy, I'd hate to have to tackle this guy. So getting second or running back number 2 reps. So when Frazier needs a rest or when the Bulldogs are in the red zone or in a short yardage situation, look for Rodrik Robinson to get some carries, take over for Frazier when he needs a break. And I really believe this guy is a guy that can impact the game with his skill set. Really good athlete, not just a big guy. I mean, he can get out there and catch it too, be a part of the passing game. And when you've got a guy like this helping you in pass pro at 6'2", 235, that is a real advantage when you need to protect the quarterback. So Rodrik Robinson, number 3, man, can't wait to see where he's at right now. Player number 4. I have not seen him yet except in the high school highlight reel, and that is Elijah Griffin, freshman defensive tackle. Number 1 rated defensive lineman nationally in this year's class. The number 3 rated player overall nationally, and the top rated player in the state of Georgia. One of the most fertile recruiting grounds in the country. So he's coming in with an impressive resume, and he's got an opportunity to earn some playing time as a freshman, and that gets any freshman excited. Start, probably not. I mean, he could work his way into a starting role, but right now I'm sure he's focused on trying to impress this coaching staff enough to where they have confidence in him, where they can roll him in. Georgia's done a really good job under Kirby Smart of keeping fresh defensive linemen in the game. And I'm looking forward to seeing Elijah Griffin and what he's bringing to the table. I'm sure he's thinking if he can get in that rotation, that he's going to get reps in every single game this season. Can he be a difference maker? Well, the high school resume says so. And as I understand it, is holding his own in the preseason camp with the 1s and the 2s. So he's going up against the best offensive lineman that Georgia has. And I'm hearing that he's holding his own against the top guys on the team. So yes, I think the answer is at some point he's going to be a difference maker. Will it be this year? I need to know more, so I'm going to be watching Elijah in the scrimmage to see where he's at in his progression. And then player number 5, another true freshman. Look, any good quarterback is going to be interested in the offensive lineman that will be up front, maybe coming in with the same recruiting class. I know I was totally obsessed with the offensive lineman in my class and getting to know the upperclassmen that played on the offensive line, earning their respect as I tried to get some playing time as a freshman. So looking forward to seeing Juan Gaston. Juan comes in as a freshman offensive lineman at 6'7", stepped on campus at over 350 pounds, 6'7", 350 plus. As I understand it, he's worked hard since he arrived at Georgia. He's dropped 10 to 15 pounds, Kirby was saying, getting in better shape. He's out of Westlake High School here in Metro Atlanta and was a top 25 rated player here in the state of Georgia in this current recruiting class that is stepping on campus. Now, he's regarded as a future offensive tackle in the coming years. But he's got an opportunity here as a freshman to maybe earn some playing time at the right guard position where there's a full-blown competition going on to be the starter at right guard. Can he earn some playing time at the right guard position? Probably. He's competing with another big fella out of Marietta, Daniel Calhoun, Walton High School, and then Michael Uini, who's a redshirt freshman. Those two guys, Calhoun and Uini, are competing for that starting job at right guard, and Gaston, opportunity to maybe slip in there and get some playing time there too. So can't wait to see the big man out of Westlake, Juan Gaston. His dad played basketball at Georgia Tech a few years ago. So, man, I'm ready to show up and evaluate. And yeah, sure, I'm looking forward to seeing the whole gang as far as the Georgia Football Letterman go. But when that scrimmage starts, I'm going to have to set a little alarm on the phone to make sure that I quit talking to all the Georgia Football Letterman and get out there in the stadium and see this 2025 Georgia Bulldog team conduct their second scrimmage of the preseason camp. A little later this week, I've got Josh Brock, who is the new Georgia radio analyst, stepping in for Eric Zier, who has stepped away after 18 years. Josh Brock played his high school ball in Cartersville and played with Shockley at Georgia back 2002, a few years ago. He was in there with Shockley mixing it up. And got Josh Brock coming on, and we'll break down this Georgia offensive line. Georgia totally focused right now on getting this running game going, get that running game cranked up. One of the big keys to the season, and Georgia having the success that they want to have. So looking forward to talking with Josh about that. That podcast will be up later this week.